In the freezing darkness of the Arctic, survival was, well, a constant battle. During World War II, soldiers stationed in northern outposts faced temperatures far below freezing, biting winds, and a landscape that offered little shelter. Yet, amid this extreme environment, troops discovered an ingenious technique to create temporary fortifications, conceal themselves, and even trap heat, all under the cover of night. Known in whispers among veterans as the Arctic snow block method, this long-forgotten technique was a blend of practicality, resourcefulness, and sheer ingenuity. Its lessons are more than historical. They are practical insights that can still guide survivalists, campers, and, backyard explorers today. Why soldiers turn to snow as a tool rather than a hazard. The Arctic landscape is unforgiving. Traditional tents or shelters were often impractical because they were heavy, visible from a distance, and honestly slow to assemble. Soldiers needed something fast, efficient, and adaptable. Snow, abundant and, surprisingly versatile, became the perfect material. By carefully cutting, shaping and stacking blocks of compacted snow, troops could build walls, windbreaks, and even small enclosures that provided shelter and camouflage. The snow block method transformed the environment from an enemy into an ally. Snow's insulating properties were key. Compacted blocks trapped air between them, creating a barrier that slowed heat loss and blocked the wind. This allowed soldiers to maintain body heat even during long Arctic nights. Beyond insulation, the blocks served as defensive structures. In reconnaissance or combat scenarios, snow walls could obscure positions, control sight lines, and reduce exposure to enemy observation or gunfire. What looked like a frozen wasteland was suddenly transformed into a tactical advantage. How the snow block method was executed at night. The method required speed, precision, and careful observation of the environment. Soldiers typically worked in small teams, each with a simple snow saw, or even improvised tools like shovels and entrenching knives. The key was to cut uniform blocks of snow from hard-packed areas, often using the cold night to their advantage, since compacted snow holds together better in low temperatures. Blocks were then stacked in staggered formations, similar to brickwork, to provide stability and prevent collapse. Even small design choices mattered. Hollowing out portions of the wall or building L-shaped corners created pockets of warmer air, which could be used for rest or gear storage. Nighttime operations also offered concealment, allowing troops to build these fortifications without attracting enemy attention. Soldiers learned to combine structural integrity with thermal efficiency, creating walls that could withstand wind gusts and trap heat for hours. Why this method worked when conventional shelters failed. Traditional tents or wooden shelters were heavy, slow to deploy, and, prone to failure in Arctic winds. Snow blocks, on the other hand, were free, abundant, and could be shaped right there on site. They offered immediate protection and could be adapted to the terrain. The block's insulating effect was particularly valuable. Unlike open-air fires, which could be dangerous and reveal positions, snow walls retained warmth from body heat alone, providing a discreet yet effective solution. The method also encouraged creativity under constraints. Soldiers could modify walls, build temporary bunks, or even create small defensive positions in just a few minutes. This adaptability made snow block shelters a force multiplier in extreme conditions, where conventional supplies were, scarce or sometimes just unavailable. Modern survivalists and backyard enthusiasts alike can actually learn a lot from this technique. While honestly, not many of us face Arctic conditions in our daily lives, the principles behind the snow block method are still, surprisingly relevant. The key takeaway here is really to use available materials intelligently, maximize insulation, and always think strategically about heat retention and protection. For winter camping or survival exercises, cutting and stacking snow blocks can be used to create emergency shelters or windbreaks. This approach helps protect tents, gear, or individuals from extreme wind chill, which can make all the difference out there. To experiment safely, start by identifying compacted snow. Use a small saw or a sturdy knife to cut manageable blocks. Stack them in a staggered formation, leaving openings for entry or airflow. You can even hollow out sections to create a sleeping platform or, a gear storage area. Pay attention to wind direction, using blocks to shield against gusts and trap warmer air inside. This hands-on approach teaches practical skills in structural integrity, thermal management, and resourcefulness, exactly the lessons soldiers learned under extreme pressure. Why understanding this method is valuable for historical and survival enthusiasts. The lost Arctic snow block method is more than a survival hack. It's a window into the ingenuity of soldiers who thrived in one of the harshest environments on Earth. It really shows how necessity drives innovation. Materials as simple as snow can, quite remarkably, be transformed into life-saving tools. And with careful observation of the environment, you can find practical solutions where you might least expect them. For backyard enthusiasts, this sort of thing really reinforces the importance of thinking creatively, using whatever is available, and of course, balancing speed, safety, and efficiency. Beyond the practical applications, studying these historical methods honestly deepens our appreciation for the challenges faced by those who lived through extreme wartime conditions. It connects us to a lineage of problem solvers, inspiring us to apply similar thinking in modern survival scenarios, camping expeditions, or even, backyard experiments in cold weather preparedness. The Arctic snow block method, honestly, it reminds us that survival often comes down to ingenuity, observation, and of course, the willingness to adapt. By practicing and understanding this technique, we not only honor the ingenuity of soldiers, but also gain timeless skills that can be applied whenever conditions challenge us. If you found this guide valuable, make sure to subscribe and share this video with fellow history buffs and survival enthusiasts. By exploring forgotten techniques like the Arctic snow block method, we preserve critical knowledge and equip ourselves with practical skills that are as relevant today as they were in the frozen battlefields of World War II. Stay resourceful, stay curious, and, well, keep uncovering the hidden wisdom that shaped those who survived against all odds.